kind of stuff. So basically today what we're going to try to do is explain what the archetypes are. So first, what is archetype? And then we're going to explain what anima and animus is. But we're also going to look at the problems of a disconnected anima and a disconnected animus. And then we're going to talk about possession by the anima and animus. And each of these has a clinical picture, like a clinical presentation. Then we're going to talk about how the anima and animus affects us relationally. So if I have problems with my anima and animus, it is going to affect the relationships that I feel. So just to give you all a quick example. Here's an example, okay? It derives its authority from its connection with the universal mind, but the force of suggestion it exercises is due to the woman's insensitivity in thinking and the corresponding lack of critical ability. Such opinions and concepts, usually brought out with great aplomb, are especially characteristic of the animus. They are generally valid concepts or truths, which, though they may be quite true in themselves, do not fit in the given instance because they fail to consider what is individual and specific in a situation. Ready-made, incontrovertible, valid judgments of this kind are really only applicable in mathematics, where 2 times 2 is always 4. The same sort of unrelated thinking also appears in a man when he is identified with the reason or local principle, and does not himself think, but lets it think. Such men are naturally especially well suited to the embodiment of the animus in a woman. Okay? I know that's kind of like a random thing, but what I want y'all to pay attention to is they're talking about something called animus possession. And in animus possession, what happens in this person's mind is they come up with these factually produced styles of thinking, and they trot them out. Here are these truths based on mathematical principles, but there's no room for individuality. This is a sign of animus possession, okay? Perfect precision. This is a book that was written by Emma Jung like 100 years ago, okay? So can you guys think of in dating and mating, do you have a situation where people are trotting out universal truths as if they are mathematics that remove all individuality from the equation? Okay? Are we pretending like things that are individual and highly variable are actually scientific, not even scientific, mathematical truths? This is a sign of animus. This is something that Emma Jung talked about almost 100 years ago. She was like, by the way, there's this fact, okay? And it's because of this that I think that anima and animus is so important. And then finally, we're going to talk about constellation, which is how we fix them, okay? This is what we're going to cover today. So let's start with the basics. Jung noticed something kind of interesting. He noticed that if you go across cultures, there are these primitive things in our unconscious mind which are universal across cultures. So it's like, this is kind of interesting, right? Because we're all conditioned by our environment. But what he noticed is that there's this fundamental masculine thing in our unconscious. This is what's called the animus. And the animus is that which deals with the external world, so is externally oriented, is logical, is like motivated to accomplish. It is fundamentally the way that a human being, so you like look across cultures, it was like, okay, there's this basic thing that some human beings, or not some, all human beings have the capacity to deal with the external world. And dealing with the external world involves a set of skills, right? It's interpreting information, it's some amount of analysis, it's building things in the outside world, it's shaping the outside world, it's interacting with the outside world. So it kind of lumps these things together. And he said, you know what, this is what we're going to call the masculine principle. Because if you look at men, especially this is real! Men are people who go out and they build things, they shape the external world. They break through. They don't talk about their feelings. That is what the word is about. Then what we also noticed is that there was an internal principle as well. There's an inner sense of being, a sense of feeling, a sense of connection, a sense of relation. Not shaping, but relating, connecting. And it's like these are these 2 lumps of stuff. One is an internal orientation, and one is an external orientation. Perfect. And because the society was very gendered in that time, people associated masculinity with external stuff as accomplishment, and women are emotions, feeling, internal, relational connection. But this is really important to understand. What Jung said is that these are not male and female, they're masculine and feminine. Loneliness is an all-time high, sexlessness is an all-time high, relationships are probably the worst they've ever been, which is crazy. And that's why they're you should falling in love is something.
Can we switch places?
I started to do a lot of research about how to have like really good sex.
Visit healthygamer.gg/guide.
Still got it after all these years, Natasha.
So every human being has both of these qualities. These are primitive parts of our unconscious mind. If you look at any human being on the planet, there's a part of us that wants to shape and interact with the external world, and there's a part of us that has an inner sense of being, feeling, aliveness, and connection. This is what he calls animus, and this is what he calls anima. Now, back in the day, animus and anima mapped on more to men. So we used to live in highly gendered societies where men were more animus-oriented and women were more anima-oriented. Okay? So each of us, okay, so man or woman, both of us have animus.
My work here is not
And
done.
animus is external, logical, accomplishment, driven, challenging, okay? And anima is internal, feeling, connecting, being, nurturing. And he sort of said, okay, every human being on the planet has these two qualities. And these are archetypal things. So what is an archetype? It is a very deep-rooted pattern that lives in our unconscious. So if you look at your life, you have a part of you that is externally oriented, a part of you that is internally. You have a part of you that is logical, a part of you that is feeling. Literally, like now, remember, this is like Jung, okay? So this is around the year 1900, like 120 years. Okay? And now, back then, they didn't know that there was left brain and right brain, right? They didn't know that there was the amygdala, the feeling portion of our brain, and there was like the logical portion of our brain, the analytical portion of our brain, that language is over here on the left, and Broca's area and Wernicke's area, right? And there's some emotional circuits over on the right. So our limbic system is more right. They didn't know that stuff, but they just did Emma Jung really did a lot of this work. So then what they do is every person has an anima and every person has an animus. And what we want is a healthy balance between the two. We want an integration between these two things. Is that my life is a balance of going out and accomplishing things in the world and being one with myself. That I have logic and I have emotion. But then what happens in some people is one of the forces can become imbalanced. And this is where the abstraction becomes clinical, okay? So we can disconnect from one. There are some people who are disconnected from their animus. So as a human being, I have an animus. And if I get disconnected from one, what happens is the other one kind of becomes dumb. So I can have a life where I'm way too emotional, way too internally focused. I don't deal with the vagaries of the external world. Man, all those plebs who are always like out there working dead-end jobs and clawing out a pathetic living in life, right? All these dirty people out there who kind of claw out some kind of low-meaning, no, I'm more grand. I'm not gonna debase myself to join the rat race of the normal world, the external world. I'm going to be philosophical. I'm going to be intellectual. I'm going to be all the deeper things, the spiritual things, to pierce the veil of reality, to understand the metaphysical nature of the world. I'm not going to actually go get a PhD in physics and do math problems. I'm going to contemplate quantum mechanics and synchronicity on Reddit, right? I'm not going to engage with this dirty, oh my god, I have to fill out applications and fill out surveys and get my, oh my god, I'm not going to do that, right? You see how these people are, they are not able to engage with the external world. But we also have cases of animus and disconnected animus. These are people who are not connected to their inner being. In the same way, I ain't gonna deal with feelings. Facts don't give a F about your feelings. Feelings are useless. Feelings are low. Feelings are pathetic. I'm gonna focus on mathematics. I'm gonna focus on ROI. I'm gonna focus on analysis. This is how you succeed in the external world. No one gives a crap how you feel. Feelings are to be conquered, they're to be severed. I'm gonna use drugs, I'm gonna use steroids, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna have bitches, I'm gonna have cars, I'm gonna be big on the outside. That is where success lies. This being content with yourself on the inside, being able to feel, being a pussy who focuses on nurturing and feeling. Oh my God, how pathetic is that? Sound familiar? Right? Oh, no, but someone's saying I was about to say true until he said drugs and steroids. But think about it. Drugs are the ultimate way to deal with internal feeling. They're our way of exerting control. What I feel on the inside is not worth anything. I just need it to stop. So give me a little bit of that vitamin K. Let me roll up to Wall Street, and my job as an investment banker. I'm going to go down from the 68th floor of the building that I'm in on Wall Street. I'm going to go into the mobile ketamine clinic, which is a bus that parks outside of my building, and I'm going to get injected with vitamin K. Okay? You guys understand? And by the way, I'm going to show you all some cool photos of both of these things, and it's going to be hilarious. So this is a lopsided animus, and this is a lopsided animus, where we disconnect from a part of ourselves. And this, Jung, Emma Jung, and Carl Jung both said that both of these are fundamentally unhealthy. We won't be a healthy human being. But there's another thing that can happen. So this is called disconnection, and this manifests in a particular clinical way. Okay? Clinical in the sense of like shows up in a human being, not in the sense of like diagnosis. This is the picture, which I sort of modeled. And oh yeah, when Dr. K says, "Oh my God, I think anima and animus is so helpful in us understanding things," this is not me making these connections. Okay, this is me just using the current version, but we will literally see versions of this. Then something weird happens. There's something called perception. So this is when we have the anima. Let's say I am, so anima sucks, I'm all animus. But then something weird happens. This part of our unconscious, we can try to bury it, but it is like a fundamental part of us. We can't really get rid of it. No matter how much I think that emotions are dumb, right? Emotions are useless, emotions are a waste of my time, facts don't care about your feelings. At the end of the day, I still have a limbic system. That part of my brain is like there. And similarly in my mind, which is different from the brain, right? In my mind, there is a part of me that is nurturing. There's a part of me that is inner, no matter how much I try to make it go away. Then something weird happens. The anima actually possesses the animus. And this becomes a puppeteer, okay? So what is this mean? This means that on the outside, I appear to be very logical, I appear to be very analytical, but behind my logic and behind my analysis, emotions actually control. I become highly sensitive to criticism because internally I can't handle it. I need to prove them wrong. I become highly sensitive, or not sensitive, paranoid to manipulation. I'm worried about people always manipulating me. I'm paranoid about people manipulating me. Why? Because I'm not anchored in myself. So what I discover, and these people, the people who are anima possessed, are hyper-analytical, hyper-logical, but they're incredibly moody. They're actually like, you know, when we talk about the fragile masculine ego, like look at this alpha who's like got a bunch of money and got a bunch of muscles, all this kind of stuff, but like you're like, yeah man, you're pathetic, bro. And you're like, whoa. They can't tolerate, they pick fights with middle-aged dudes who have 3 loving kids on the internet and try to flex on them. They have to put everyone in their place. They're actually incredibly emotional creatures. They're very unstable. They do things like get up and walk out of interviews because they can't tolerate a conversation. They're incredibly emotional, but they're the last to realize, right? They go picking ego fights because, hold on a second, but you have all this money, you have all this fame, you have all of this stuff, you have all these big muscles. Why are you picking a fight with a random dude who's not real? Why are you doing that? And they don't have a good answer for it. They're like, oh yeah, like, I'm doing it for fun. Well, hold on a second. What about that is fun? They don't know because they're not connected to their inner being. So the anima actually puppets their animus. Their feeling actually drives their analytical thinking. Okay? That's animus possession. We're lopping off our analytical thinking. And so this part of us that tries to control, tries to restrain, tries to get the world to conform. Remember, this is external and this is internal. So these people too, their animus starts controlling their anima. So in the case of animus possession, we see a different kind of picture. So you can sort of think about someone who is like a woman who's severed off all of her feelings and has become hyper-animus. So this is a person who, when we get animus possessed, this is someone who lives in the realm of fantasy. So they can't do anything in the outside world, but that drive to do things in the outside world infects their internal world. So these are people who build castles in their mind. They're highly theoretical. Their desire to create, their desire to analyze, their desire to accomplish in the external world gets flowed into their imagination because they're too stuck, right? Their anima shifted. So they're shifted internally. So all of their external drive manifests internally. So they build up idealized versions of themselves. They have a beautiful example of the perfect version of themselves. They have this logical idea of the perfect self. But that perfect self lives within them. The perfect self cannot grapple with the muddiness of the outside world. Okay? Then we get to the relational component. But I think I'm going to explain some of this stuff. When we're disconnected from our animus, when we're disconnected from our...
The moon!
So, anima disconnection started to happen a lot with us. It's not me saying this, I mean, so there used to be a period of time where men did one thing and women did another thing. And then a couple of fundamental things changed in the world. So Emma Yoon talks about this. So one of the animus activities most difficult to see lies in this field, namely the building up of a rich image of oneself. The animus is expert at sketching in and making a plausible picture that represents us as we would like to be seen. The ideal lover, the selfless handmaiden, the extraordinarily original person, right? Which is now being interacted with the efficiency of AI, which is now telling the AI to tell you, yeah, you are extraordinarily original. Your ideas are revolutionizing quantum mechanics. This is quantum biology, bro. You're really breaking barriers that no one else has broken.
Still so
And
much
this
to
person
do.
is spending their time, or they're spending their time in the external world? No. This is the animus being filtered through their internal being. Other examples are a largely retrospectively oriented pondering of what we ought to have done differently in life and how we ought to have done it. Or, as if under compulsion, we make up strings of causal connections. We like to call this thinking, though on the contrary, it is a form of mental activity that is strangely pointless and unproductive. A form that really leads only to self-portrait. Here, too, there is again a characteristic failure to discriminate between what is real and what has been thought or imagined. Boom! Here we go. Animus Possession. Written by Emma Yoon 100 years ago. She's like, here's what the pattern is. This faculty of thinking is not being put out into the world. The faculty of thinking is being put and these people just chew on these thoughts. They're really good at analyzing. Oh my god, they analyze so much, but they analyze in the past. They form all of these complex theories, and it never translates out into the external world. They are stuck inside themselves. This is the animus possessing the animus. Okay? We're going to start with feminism. Okay? This is not like, please don't, God, don't think that I'm anti-feminist. Let's understand. We really got to understand. I wasn't going to do this originally because I don't want people to get triggered, but this is important. So, yeah, I don't want to get canceled. So we as human beings have these psychological like parts of us, right? Like, so every human being has the desire to make themselves known in the external world and has the desire to like be good internally. Like, this is fundamental. And then what happened is these internal psychological drives manifested in a particular way. So for like 100,000 years of evolution, human beings lived in a particular society. So our brain and our psychological drives evolved with the society. Then what happened is society changed. And as society changed, these psychological drives no longer fit normally with the world that we live in. And so Emma Yoon noticed that in her patients, something was going on with their anima. The relationship between their anima and their animus was getting messed up by advances in society. Now, this is really important to understand. I'm not saying, and I don't think that Marie Franz doesn't believe this, Emma Yoon doesn't believe this, I don't believe this. This is not good or bad. This does not imply that we should have stayed in the old way. So what Emma Yoon talks about is she says that there are three causes for anima problems for women. The first is that we used to rely on religion to give us a sense of like the inner being and help us connect with our internal self. As religion started to decline, we no longer had a clear way to connect with our spiritual selves. Okay? Second big leap thing that changed a lot for women, changed drastically for women, is birth. So a huge part of what a woman's psychology had to be oriented towards is like to breed or not to breed. That is the question. Because medical care was not great at that time. Infant mortality was really bad. Even today, statistically, the most dangerous thing that a woman would do in her life is get pregnant. Very tough. most dangerous thing that there is. So a lot of our psychology was wrapped up into this question, which now is something we have researched. And the third thing is technology. So there were many tasks that, for example, Jung talks about, there are many tasks for which the woman previously applied her invented this theory of spirit, right? Where she formally blew up the hot fire and still accomplished a amazing act. Today she returns the gas plug or electrical switch and has no inkling of what she sacrifices by these practical methods. Okay? Basically, what she's kind of pointing out is if you look at, like, let's say a woman 1,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago, the drive to be inventive, the drive to be creative was in some way satisfied by the way that they facilitated, right? To make order out of chaos and engage in the external world, I had to keep my house in order. And a good example of like a well-integrated animist woman is what I think that was like a matriarch. So she's not someone who is just dealing with healing, she's dealing with practicalities. So I remember when my grandmother when she had young kids in India, there was rations. So she would get a lot more sugar that was really expensive. She couldn't buy more. And so she had to use her analytical capabilities to make sure that the sugar lasted through the month. She had to be very analytical. Very analytical. She also had to account for the fact that my grandfather was not good with money. So her animus was very representative. It had stuff to do. And so with the creation of technology, right, so what happened is then suddenly, like, the stuff that women used to do is no longer that big of a deal. So then where does their external drive go? And this is where she also observes a couple of things, okay, which is for everything not done in the traditional way will be done in a new way, and that is not altogether simple. There are many women who, when they have reached the place where they are confronted by the intellectual demands, say, I would rather have another child in order to escape or at least postpone the uncomfortable and disturbing demand. So this is important to understand. This is like, I want y'all to be really careful about what this means and what this doesn't mean. So what Jung is saying is that, look, if there used to be something done a particular way and we just take that away, it's not such an easy problem to solve. And some women will avoid their intellectual engagement by retreating into just being an oven for babies. And Jung says this will cause you a ton of problems in life. You have a fundamental psychological need to engage in the outside world, to accomplish things in the outside world. And society was so simple that you used to be able to satisfy that. And just having children is a way to run away from the intellectual demand. And remember, Jung is like 100 years.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
I will bring peace to this universe, no matter the cost. May your winds guide us to victory, Storm.
Seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Jubilation. We have missed you on Krakoa.
Sorry I've been away for so long. Thanks for watching over Shogo.
We are X-Men. Your family is our family.
Aurora, thank you.
My strength has increased.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I can get you to the tower, Harvey. No problem.
I tend to lost souls, like a shepherd tends to his flock.
Help never hurt. Damage sustained. Need the systemic burn. Help me out! Aurora! No. Ambush!
Healing power. In this together. I feel better.
Every little bit helps.
Healing power. We are in this together.
You're halfway there. Keep going. Double KO.
The cosmos heals you. This time I need healing.
Almost there. Don't turn back now.
I feel stronger than ever. Quantum magic.
Youch! That hurts!
We have reached the checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Healing power.
Need assistance!
I am at your service. Healing power.
Top me off.
My strength.
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
Feel my power.
Any healing is good.
We are in this together.
We will deliver you safely, Herbie.
I require some aid.
Youch! That hurts!
Hurricane incoming!
The cosmos heals you.
Top me off.
My divinity surpasses yours, Thunder God. I feel stronger than ever.
You're halfway there. Keep going.
Cosmic fury is beyond the limit.
Nearly ready to unleash my full powers. A magic doorway? Must be
I am ready to put on a show.
The Eye of Agamotto!
I am finished.
way better already. Time for a blow-up!
Born again!
I'm hit! Cover me!
Healing power.
Get that vehicle moving again.
Second chance is over. This time I need healing. The cosmos heals you. The cosmos heals you.
I'll handle what lurks in the dark.
Behold the God of Thunder!
They're coming from all sides.
I feel stronger than ever. The cosmos heals
Get
you.
that vehicle moving again.
Thanks for the boost. Targeted for extermination.
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
Quantum magic. This time I need healing.
Born again!
Need assistance!
Might return.
Hard!
Get that vehicle moving again.
Like a thunder blow. I am at your service. Quantum magic.
I am ready to put on a show.
Look up, bad guys! Help never hurt!
Hurricane incoming!
The cosmos heals you. I am at your service.
Let's move! Even the street knights look nervous.
I require some aid. Healing power.
Every little bit helps.
I'm hit! Cover me!
Cosmic might returns.
Thanks for the boost.
We are healing power.
Like a phoenix! Bursting in!
Almost there. Don't turn back now.
Behold the God of Thunder!
Second chance is over. You are safe now, my friend. Quantum magic.
Born again!
Only 60 seconds left.
Sustained. Need assistance.
I am at your service.
Back in the hunt.
My cosmic light returns. Healing power.
The vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Eyes on this location. I've got your back.
The cosmos heals you.
Timeless domination.
I am ready to put on a show.
That topped me off. Hurricane
Might
incoming!
Damage sustained. I need assistance.
Don't let anything stand in your way.
Healing power.
Back in the hunt.
I am at your service. The cosmos heals you. The cosmos heals you.
Thanks for the boost.
I feel better already.
Get that vehicle moving again. Only 60 seconds left.
By the eye of Agamotto!
They're coming from all sides.
I see them! Targeted for extermination.
The cosmos heals you.
Director's injured. Wait there.
Every little bit helps.
Down to 30 seconds. So close. This is your big chance.
Quantum magic. I feel
I am ready to put on a show. Final 10 seconds.
Born again!
Nowhere yet. Going to overtime.
second chance is over.
Another epic victory.
fighting, you can think. You are so powerful that nothing can stop you. You think about it, well, what do you need? Well,
Pick your hero. Or villain. I'm not judging.
Not that there's anything wrong with being a plumber or a waitress, because there isn't. It's like you're going to negotiate for a raise, you're going to negotiate for a promotion, you're going to negotiate how your customers treat you, you're going to negotiate how you advertise yourself, for example, with regards to picking up customers. That's all articulated linguistic ability. The ability to express yourself. If you're good at that, you win. Period. And so, right, look, there's a reason. Like the children of rich people took liberal arts degrees. Why? Because
I will bring peace to this universe, no matter.
30 seconds before you attack. Get
Voltron
ready.
is not here, yet I still feel his presence. I remember it all too well.
I couldn't even trust you to write an accurate news story, Eddie. What's changed?
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Some amazing stuff. Enjoy this.
Don't like this spot.
Healing power.
I got hit! Like, hard!
Quantum magic.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
I require some aid.
Capture the mission area!
Healing power.
Help never hurt! Behind you!
The cosmos heals you.
We got you.
The cosmos heals you. Stronger together. We are in this together. Quantum magic. My return.
Control C!
The cosmos heals you. I require some aid.
Thanks. I wish I could heal you back.
Healing power. Light. Cosmic might returns.
Us gets the one! You captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
Okay, so what happened?
Healing power. I feel better already. I require some aid. Healing supplies at last.
Area's almost yours! It's so long! Their team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
about me? Am I looking stupid? Am I looking foolish? Geez, I'm awkward. I'm sweating too much. It's all internal.
I feel better already.
Self-focused. The eye isn't working. The eye isn't working. What do you tell people? Stop. Don't stop thinking about yourself. Because you can't. It's like, don't think of a white eye.
I require some aid.
Tell someone to stop thinking about something because you just can't move. What you do with social empathy is you say, look.
They've almost got it!
Cosmos heals you.
Help never hurt.
You are safe now, my friend.
Ouch, that hurts.
They're winning, but you've still got a chance. No winner yet. Going to overtime.
It's clobbering time!
Control C.
Please. Cosmos heals you.
So it's easy. So as soon as you focus on the person, not you, you push your attention outward, use your eye, you push your attention outward, and you start watching. Well, then all your automatic mechanisms kick in, and you start being
Voltron
awkward.
is not
It's work
here,
hard.
yet I
And I'm
still
looking
feel his
here.
presence. I
I
remember
don't
it
know
all
what
too
you're gonna do
well.
next. And I'm going to put disjunctions into the, they're like bad chords in the melody of our conversation. And the reason is
30
I'm not
seconds before
paying
you attack.
attention.
Get ready.
So that's why the eye is the thing at the top of the pyramid. It's like the thing that enables you to win the set of all
You have
possible
walked among
dominance
the
arcs is
stars.
the eye.
What
Pay
wisdom do you
attention.
have for
Pay
the
attention.
intergalactic empire
That's the
of
critical
Wakanda?
issue. That's why
I would never presume, Your Highness, considering Wakanda thrives while much of the galaxy struggles.
The capacity to pay attention. What do you pay attention to most?
The battle starts in 5,
What your right
4,
hemisphere signals as a
3,
normal.
If you wish,
2,
timelines can
1.
always use more than
All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Wrong.
As long as
That's
there's still
what you
something
look
you're
at.
fighting for,
That's what you look
I'll be on the front
What's not
lines.
going right, because that's the terrible monster that's beneath you, but it's also the place to get all the So that's why
This time I need healing. Cosmic might returns.
you don't know that. Oh, you're not very smart, are you? You know, there may be a time when
Capture now. Ouch, that hurt.
Born again!
You guys know what
Help never hurt.
the mission area is yours.
The Cosmos heals you.
There's a difference between attention and thinking. Let me give you an example. People also often say to me, well, what's your strategy when you go into an interview? And the answer is, I don't have a strategy when I go into an interview because I've never
I have found more lost
I'm not sure where the conversation will go, and I'm willing to let it go.
Us gets through. The fish of the day.
The books sell because obviously I wrote a book and I want people to read it, and there's a whole enterprise behind it, and so it's also my responsibility to do the marketing properly. But I'm not going to do these interviews to sell books or to promote myself, or I don't have a strategic goal in mind except that I'm going to have a conversation and I'm going to say what I think and take the consequences, because I assume that if I say something and I believe it's true, then the consequences are as positive as they can be, regardless of how they look at the time. And that's an issue of faith, because I believe that the habitable order is generated by spoken truth. I believe that. I think that's the truest thing I know. And so I go into the interview, and I did this in my clinical practice, and I try to do this when I'm talking to people too, is that I'm not thinking about where the conversation is going or what point I want to make or what I want the outcome to be, any of that. I just let that go. you know, it's within this broader framework of assuming that the truth is the most effective means of progressing. And then I pay attention. And what happens when you pay attention is that while you're watching a person, this is a great treatment for social anxiety, by the way, because if you're socially anxious, you tend not to pay attention to the person. Pay attention to who you're talking to. Watch them like a hawk, like not paranoid or anything like that, and not too intently because you make them uncomfortable, but intently. Pay attention to what they're saying, to how they look, to their facial gestures, all of that. Look at their face and watch and listen and try to understand what they're saying. And what you'll see is that, well, questions pop into your mind. It's like, well, I didn't understand what you said. Can you clarify that? And sounds like you mean this. Is this what you mean? But not in a, I'll put you on the spot because I think you're wrong sort of way, but in a clarification sort of way. And all of that's attention. And so when I'm doing clinical work with people, and this is the reason I quit, by the way, about a year ago, is because I was starting to get distracted. I had a rule, which was, you have an hour with me and I do nothing but pay attention to you. I'm not thinking about what I want to accomplish. I'm not thinking about the problems in my life. I'm not distracted. And I listen to you and I ask questions when I don't understand. And if a thought occurs to me while I'm paying attention to you, then I'll tell you what it is. You see, and that's using awareness primarily and thinking secondarily. Like, I don't think, well, here's how I want to cure this person and I'm going to maneuver them into certain responses by using these communicative tools. I think I'm going to pay attention to this person. We're going to discuss where we're going and why. I'm going to listen to what they say. And then when they're talking, things are going to occur within me. I'm going to see images and thoughts are going to emerge from the background. And then I'll share them. Not always, because I usually have more thoughts than can be shared, but if a thought comes up and it seems like an interesting reaction to what the person just said, then I'll just tell them, and sort of without commitment to it. And it's usually, okay, you just said this, and so this question emerged, so we need to straighten that out because I'm confused. Or you said this and I had this image, or you said this and this thought came to mind. So that's one person's reaction to the way that you're conducting yourself at the moment. So thinking is instrumental. I outlined this in, I think it's rule 7, do what is meaningful, not what is expedient. If you do what's expedient, you have a short-term conscious goal in mind and you try to bend everything towards that end. But if you're pursuing what's meaningful, then you just pay attention to what's going on and you react with truth. And I think that's a much better way of living as far as I'm concerned. It's a much more powerful way of living. It means you have to confront things right then and there, which is, I suppose, why so many of my interviews have been, in some sense, confrontational, because people will impose a thinking agenda on the flow of the conversation. This is especially true in the mainstream media. It happened again recently with BBC's Hard Talk. They impose an agenda on the conversation, and then that just doesn't work out very well because I'm paying attention and I will object to the agenda. Not because I have a different agenda, except for what I said, which is that I want to say what I think. I want to say as truthfully as I can what I actually am thinking in this more abstracted and detached sense and see what happens. So it's a hard thing to clarify because you might say, well, Dr. Peterson, you just said you want to say what you're thinking, but it's not exactly the same thing. It's not like I'm thinking strategically. I'm listening, thoughts emerge, and I say them. I'm not putting spin on things. I'm not trying to manipulate the conversation in any particular way. And again, the reason for that is because I decided a long time ago, probably 30 years, that there was no more effective way of dealing with a complex situation than to try to say what you believe to be true and not to manipulate it, none of that, because those are all lies as far as I'm concerned, that kind of manipulation and spin.
Like, you don't need to have all these things, but you better have most of them. Family, friends, career, educational goals, plans for, time outside of work, attention to your mental and physical health, etc. That's what life is about. And if you don't have any of those things, well, then all you've got left is misery and suffering. So that's a bad that's a bad deal for you. So once you set up that goal structure, let's say, and that's really in many ways that's what you should be doing at university. That's exactly what you should be doing, is trying to figure out who it is that you're trying to be, right? And you aim at that, and then you use everything you learn as a means of building that person that you want to be. And I really mean want to be. I don't mean should be, even those things are going to overlap. And it's important to distinguish between those, because that's partly, and this is back down to the micro routine analysis. So as I was saying, well, you're going to try to make yourself more industrious. Okay, number one, specify your damn goals, because how are you going to hit something if you don't know what it is? That isn't going to happen. And often people won't specify their goals too, because they don't like to specify conditions for failure. So if you keep yourself all vague and foggy, which is real easy, because that's just a matter of not doing as well, then you don't know when you fail. And people might say, well, I really don't want to know when I fail, because that's painful, so I'll keep myself blind about when I fail. That's fine, except you'll fail all the time then. You just won't know it until you've failed so badly that you're done. And that can easily happen by the time you're 40. So I would recommend that you don't let that happen. So that's willful blindness, right? You could have known, but you chose not to. Okay, so once you get your goal structure set up, you think, okay, if I could have this life, looks like that might be worth living, despite the fact that it's going to be, you know, anxiety provoking and threatening, and there's going to be some suffering and loss involved and all of that. Obviously, the goal is to have a vision for your life such that, all things considered, that justifies your effort. Okay, so then what do? Well, then you turn down to the micro routines. It's like, okay, well, this is what I'm aiming for. How does that instantiate itself day to day, week to week, month to month? And that's where something like a schedule can be unbelievably useful. Google Calendar. It's like, make a damn schedule and stick to it. Okay, so what's the rule with the schedule? It's not a bloody prison. That's the first thing that people do wrong. They say, well, I don't like to follow a schedule. It's like, well, what kind of schedule are you setting up? Well, I have to do this, then I have to do this, then I have to do this, you know, and then I just go play video games, because who wants to do all these things that I have to do? It's like, wrong. Set the damn schedule up so that you have the day you want. That's the trick. It's like, okay, I've got tomorrow. If I was going to set it up so it was the best